This is how I hit 100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify without posting on social media. Hey, it's John here. If you're new to my channel, I'm the founder of one of the biggest music promotion platforms in the world called Hyped. I'm an independent music artist with over 16 million streams on Spotify. But what's most important is that I've helped over 10,000 artists and bands grow their music to over 100 million streams together on Spotify. I was browsing Reddit the other day and I saw this post here that really hit home. It said, question for artists with over 100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. How do you do it? I'm 24 now and I've been doing this since 19. So this is an artist who's been making music for 5 years. I thought I would be bigger now. I've been making music for a while now, would love to hit at least 100,000 monthly listeners, but I'm so sick of social media, to be honest. Are there any suggestions on how to grow? I read this and I thought, I get it. That social media content treadmill, it's exhausting. And it feels like you have to be a full-time influencer just to get your music heard. But I actually just experienced that you do not have to get lucky on TikTok to reach that milestone of 100,000 monthly listeners. I know this because I just did it myself. In the last 100 days, I went from 45,000 to over 100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. And this wasn't actually luck. There are 3 changes that I made to the way I promote my music that changed everything. So let me show you. We're in my Spotify for Artists, and you can see that I just cracked 100,000 monthly listeners. And the reason why this is so exciting for me is that just a little while ago, those numbers looked a lot different. Let me take you over into my song stats dashboard and you can see the last 6 months here. Monthly listeners, you can see that in August I was at about 50,000 and then here the lowest point was September 21. So that's just a little over 3 months ago. And you can see starting from September, that number has gone up, and then cracked 100,000 over here. And so what I want to share with you is what happened between 45,000 monthly listeners and 100,000 monthly listeners, because there's a few changes that I made to the way I promote my music that really made this possible. And I hope that by sharing this with you, you might be able to use it for your music and grow your exposure on Spotify. The first change that I made is this one. I focused all my promotion aggressively on one single song. And that's actually a change for me because I experiment a lot with music promotion, always testing new things. I would historically run a few different campaigns for different songs and compare engagement rates and cost per clicks and basically spread my budget across a number of different songs. But at the end of September, I decided to do something different. I decided to focus all my energy on one song. And first of all, that was the song I Feel It. And then later on in November, when Feel the Groove was released, it was this song. And here is why the simple change had such an outside effect on my monthly listeners. When I would spread my music promotion across a number of different songs, and when I talk about music promotion, by the way, I'm running meta ads. I think they're one of the best ways, if not the best way, to get highly engaged fans into Spotify and then help crack the Spotify algorithm. And so I'm a huge fan. And if you haven't run meta ads before, I highly recommend it. I actually have a video where I show you how I set up my campaigns that I can link above here. So check this out if you want to know how I run these meta ads. But the point is, I focused on just these 2 songs. And what changed here is that when I split my budget across multiple songs, I would get the popularity score of these songs between 20 and 30, sometimes maybe a little bit above 30, but that's usually where it stayed. Now, what does that mean? Why is this important? The popularity score is a metric that's internal to Spotify. They don't show this on Spotify, they don't show this in Spotify for Artists, but it is a metric that they're using in order to measure the relative popularity of all the songs on the platform. And the data shows that when the popularity score rises above 20 and then even closer to 30, this is when Spotify decides to test the track in the algorithm. That means you'll see Spotify Radio pop up, you might see Discover Weekly pop up, you might get more from Release Radar. It's that point when Spotify decides that you have earned free exposure on their platform. They're sending you listeners and they're sending you streams for free. Now that's a good thing, of course. But what really made the difference is that by focusing on one song and condensing all the budget to that one song, the popularity score of that song now got higher than what I had before. And so, for example, let me show you the campaign for Feel the Groove, Feel the Analytics. And you can see that campaign started with, low popularity score, as any new release on Spotify would. But that song didn't just stabilize at the popularity score of around 30 or a little bit above. No, it's been rising and rising. And it's now at 46, which is literally the highest popularity score that I've had among my songs. And so the higher the popularity score gets, the more algorithmic exposure are you getting from Spotify. So let me show you this real quick. If I'm gonna go in here and I look at Feel the Groove over 28 days, and we look at where all the streams are coming from, you can see that we have about 18,000 from radio, we have about 9,600 from Discover Weekly, and then 8,300 from the This Is John Gold playlist. Now that's my own playlist. That is where I'm sending my ads. I'm sending my ads to this song on this playlist. And that's about 8,000 here over the last 28 days. Spotify is essentially getting me back 28,000 streams. So that's about 3.5 times the number of streams that I'm putting in, I'm getting back. And that's not necessarily what I've seen at the lower popularity scores. So it's definitely something that has changed for me. And I can show you this also here under audience. If I look at the source of streams, algorithmic mixes, and radio and autoplay. Let me open this up to the last 12 months. You can see here how that has really started to move from the end of September. You can see where it was before, and then it's just been moving up. And so that's tremendously helped the number of monthly listeners and monthly streams go up. Hey, interrupting myself real quick to tell you about a special free giveaway. If you want to know click by click how artists and bands I coach generated over 100 million streams on Spotify on autopilot, then check this out. I put together a free step-by-step course to help you grow fast on Spotify. It's called the Spotify Growth Autopilot. It might not be free forever, but it's free now. So if you want to get access, just click the link in the description below. Takes just seconds. And now back to the video. So in summary, instead of spreading the budget wide, focusing everything on one song made a big difference. Change number 2 is that I stopped running ads the old way and I started running ads the new way. So what does that mean? In 2025, Meta updated an important part of the operating system for their ads platform, if you want to think about it like that. They rolled out the Andromeda update. And with the Andromeda update, the rules for what successful ad campaigns look like, they changed. In the past, the most successful ad campaigns would often have detailed target interests broken down into individual ad sets. All of that in combination with just a handful of ad creatives. And that stuff used to work great. But with the Andromeda update, no more. The name of the game now is broad targeting, lots and lots of ads that look and feel different from each other, and running everything in a single ad set to give Facebook full flexibility to create journeys for the fans that we're trying to attract over into Spotify. Let me hop back into Hyped It real quick here, because this campaign was run with the Andromeda setup, and you can see here that there was literally, how many ad videos were there? Looks like 20 might be the highest number. So 20 ad videos. And I'm just going to take a look at a few here for you. So we have a video here with somebody on a DJ set. We have another video here with a car driving at night. We have another ad video here with a female DJ. Then there's another DJ scene here, and this one has a completely different overlay with a cover art and a headline. So all of these ads, they look and feel very different. And this is exactly what Meta Andromeda wants in order to run high performing campaigns now. What happened to my campaigns that I launched with this new setup is that I noticed a much lower cost per click and a higher engagement rate as I was getting that traffic from Instagram and Facebook over into Spotify. So me stopping running ads the old way and starting running the new way had a really big impact. Now, if this is something you want to learn more, the Andromeda update and how to run ads that really match what Andromeda wants to see, let me leave another link to a video above here. And then the third change that I made is that I went in with a higher budget. When I saw what was happening in Meta here, that I was getting so much more back for my music than I was putting in terms of listeners and streams. Again, what I'm talking about here is the streams that I'm promoting versus the streams that I'm getting back for the algorithm. I increased my budget to $50 a day. Now, I know that this is a big budget, and I know that a lot of artists don't have a budget of $50 a day to run on a campaign. But this is also relative to where you want to go. All right, I wanted to get to 100,000 monthly listeners, but inside my VIP circle, which is a group of artists that I meet with every 2 weeks, face to face, we have members who run ads for $20 a day, and they also crack the algorithm. They also get on Spotify Radio. They also get Discover Weekly. They also get Release Radar. They might be on the journey from 10,000 monthly listeners to 20,000 monthly listeners. So it's all relative, and that's okay. And so there you have it. The journey to 100,000 listeners was a journey of focusing on a single song. I stopped running ads the old way. I started running ads the Andromeda way, and I increased my budget. Now, I will say there's actually a fourth point that made a difference. And that might be the hardest to replicate because I also had the luck of a good song. And I'm saying the luck because I'm by no means a great music producer. I'm not. I'm very much an average music producer. My music production and music making skills are nowhere matched by my passion to make music. I wish they were. I love making music. I'm not all that great at it, but every once in a while, I come up with a song that just performs better than a lot of the other ones. And so if I go into Feel the Groove here, which is the song that I dropped in November, and that's been an essential piece of riding up to 100,000 monthly listeners, that song has just performed really, really well. So if I look at some of the stats here over the last 28 days, you can see the song had about 38,000 monthly listeners, and out of those, 5,800 saved the song to their playlists. So that's a save rate of over 15%. And then look at the playlist ads here, 7,200 playlist ads. That's over 18%. And if I compare this to the metrics on all my other songs, this one clearly stands out with a higher save rate and with a higher playlist ad rate. And so to me, this is an expression of how much fans like the song. And I say I've gotten lucky because it seems like this song is a lot more popular with my audience than some of my older songs. And if you think about it, when you run ads, what you're really doing is you're taking a song and you're putting in front of an audience that most likely to like the song. But how that audience reacts to the song, right? But whether they come into Spotify and they fall in love with it, they save it, they like it, they come back to it multiple times to listen to it over and over again, that's really all about the song. And so it's just a reminder that music matters. And it's also a reminder that if you're watching this video and you feel like you're doing all these things already, you focus on one campaign, you're launching your campaigns in the new way, ready for Andromeda, and you have a decent budget per day, but you're not seeing that same growth, that it could be that you haven't bet on the right song yet. And so an easy thing to do is just to try a different song. What's actually interesting here is, if you look at this, that's the newest song that was just, dropped at the end of November. But my second popular song was dropped in January 2024. So this song is 2 years old. And so the reason why this song is up here is that actually before Feel the Groove came out, I ran a campaign for I Feel It. What's funny is that this was actually initially just a test campaign that I ran to experiment with the Andromeda setup, but it performed so well that it really lifted up the song. And if I go in here and I check the analytics again, I see really good save rate, saves to listeners, and a really good playlist ads rate to listeners. They're not as good as for my other song, Feel the Groove, but they're also pretty good. So the music really matters. And if you can combine the 3 changes that I talked about here with a great song that you made, whether that is a new song or an old song, it doesn't matter at all, then I think it's really possible to engineer this level of growth. And the good thing is this isn't complicated at all. As I said, I use Hyped to launch and manage these campaigns. All I do is go into Hyped, pick one of the campaign templates for Spotify. It takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to set up these campaigns. And then this is what they produce. You've seen it in this video. If you want to try launching your next campaign with Hyped, I left the link below in the description. It's free to try. And with that, I hope you like this video. And stay tuned. There are a lot more updates coming on what's working right now and also what stopped working. So if you want to make sure you don't miss any of that, just hit the subscribe, the like, and the bell buttons below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.